Good morning. Thank you so much for coming and being awake, especially me. So I think it's 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning in my mind, or something like that. So when I'm done talking, that's when I'm going to start to wake up. But it should be fun. I really appreciate you guys coming out this morning. Just to, where's the clicker? There it is. Some of you I know, some of you I know digitally, and so it's wonderful to put an actual face and shake some actual hands. Some of you I've Twittered with, so it's interesting to see everybody here. I put an exclamation point behind this because I thought it would make more people come, right? And that maybe we could leave and make some signs that say web governance now, kind of walk down the street and have that happen. But we'll talk about that later on. You don't look too charged up about it right now, but by the time we leave, you're actually going to be very, very charged up about it. So while you're looking at that, and I apologize ahead of time, if the slides were bigger, there's going to be a couple of slides which I know you can read, but if you're a bifocal person in the back, you might have some challenges. But I'll try and read some stuff out loud to you. But before I get going, let me tell you a little bit about me and about where I'm coming from. I know you all maybe read something about a bio, but that doesn't really explain why I do what I do and why I'm standing here talking about web governance so much. My first real web job was, actually my first web job was coding web pages for this little company called Netscape. It actually is Netscape/Mosaic. And I was on maternity leave. I just had a child. He's now 14. And I wanted a job where I could work from home. And he said, well, why don't you come to Silicon Valley and you can stay home and code HTML pages. And my maternity gift was a 14.4 modem and an HTML book. And so I stayed home and learned that. And then we moved to California, where I promptly got divorced. And then I did this at home for a while. And then because I promptly got divorced, I needed a real job. So I answered ad for this little company called Cisco Systems, which I sort of really didn't know what they did. I had worked around technology and done some Lotus Notes development and worked in television and all of this other kind of stuff. But it was very interesting. So I started working for Cisco, and my job was to manage the products area of the website, which I did do. And my job was to take some pages that came out of a very complicated document management system and apply the internet look and feel to them and post them. It was very boring, and on about day 2, I wrote a macro, and it was over, and I didn't have anything to do. So then I started looking up and realizing that, well, 1, these things should be automated, and 2, how come everything on the website looked different, and how come there were 500 people at Cisco who worked on the site and it wasn't all very coordinated? So after that, about 3 years of going through that and doing various jobs, I found out that I knew a lot about understanding and managing an enterprise-sized website. Cisco had 500,000 web pages in around 1996, which was very large at that time. And they also were doing multi-channel delivery. So I started to notice that as we started to implement a lot of tools, that some of the tools were very effective, but it didn't really help align the people, right? And it didn't make people want to do the same thing or work the same way. And just because we had implemented a tool didn't mean that everyone wanted to use it. Right, so we started to do things like build the community of web editors internally, where we're aligning people and getting people to come together quarterly and talk about standards and that sorts of thing. So in 1999, I kind of got bored with that sustaining and left and started to consult, thinking other people are going to have problems managing big websites, right? And wouldn't it be fun to try and help them solve them?